Welcome back. I'm the Watch King. On this video, this is a special video. I don't do these normally, but I can start bringing them in. This is a story time type of video. We're going to be talking mainly about selling luxury watches, and then there's a gold story in between, but it all ties together, right? So there's a few ways you can sell your watch or anything jewelry-wise in this market, right? You have eBay, and then you have places that eBay and Chrono24 are two together, like third party, which oftentimes, they charge a fee, and there's a whole thing there. That's a whole nother story. We can talk about that. And then there's places like OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace. Craigslist is pretty dead, but there's a lot of watches sold there. You have to be careful. And there's plenty of stories with those type of, for other videos. But we're going to talk mainly about something that I thought would never happen. Just because brick and mortar stores, you would think that they're going to be fair and honest because they have a reputation, right? So we're going to talk about my experience, right, recently, and I've never had this type of experience ever, and a story along with it. So recently, gold at the time of this video, and the time I did sell it, it was like a couple weeks ago, but gold is at all-time highs, right? So I don't talk about gold a lot on this channel, but I deal with that too. So I had an amazing Cuban bracelet in stock, really nice one, 8mm, and then I had a chain that wasn't, the greatest. It needed a new clasp, but it was still 14 karat, right? So I had both of these, jewelry pieces. So I go and I go to the jeweler and I sell it to him because I've done business with him since I was like 15, 16 years old, right? The very first ever Rolex I flipped was with him, right? So this is something that I do just because I'm a nice guy. I could have scrapped it and got 1% less, right? It's very little difference, or less than 1%. So that happens. He pays me. Everything's a good day, right? 3 days later, I get a phone call. The rope chain. Remember, I sold it as a package. The rope chain needed a new clasp, but I still sold it to him for the scrap value at the time because the Cuban came along. So it's actually 10 karat. It's not 14 karat. I find out 3 days later, right? So I go, okay, right? He goes, you owe me $200 on the phone. Go, okay. You know what? I'll come tomorrow, and we'll figure this out. I wasn't supposed to go down there. I do that trip every few months. This is pretty far for me to travel there. But I go, you know what? Let me just go down there, make things right. Because I don't like to screw anybody. I'm not that type of cheesy jeweler. I want to have a very good, clean, squeaky clean reputation. Because that's who I am. I don't want to do that. So I walk into this place. And it all ties together because there's watch related, right? So he goes, okay, you owe me $200. I go, I'm not going to do that. So he says, okay, pay me back for the rope chain, the full amount that he paid me. I go, I'm not going to do that either. I go, I'll give you a full refund, right? Because gold went up between the time that I sold it to him and now. I'll give you the entire refund of everything, but I want my Cuban chain back because it's sold as a package. He goes, I'm not going to do that. I polished it. I think he said $100, and then he came down to $80 more because he polished this Cuban chain, right? Right. I didn't care if he polished it. I didn't care if he didn't. I'm not going to pay him an extra $100 for that. That's ridiculous. He's offering me he wants a refund for the bad product, right? The one that I sold it as a package. I go, and then he wants to keep the nice thing, right? So I go, that's not going to happen. I either give you a full refund for everything, or you're with that, right? So then he starts, raising his voice, almost to a yelling point, but not there. And he goes, oh, it's $200. Pay me back next time we do business, right? So I walked out of there, and I go, okay, well, he's not making me really eager to come back and do business with him, right? These people have been there way longer than I have. One's a professional jeweler. The other one's a watchmaker. I'm not going to say who these people are, but that's who, they are. So they know their stuff, right? So I go around, I'm a little bit, feeling bad. Like he made me feel like I'm the bad person in this scenario. And I know when I'm being nice and then being taken advantage of. It's not even the point of the $200. It's the point of, we've done business this many years and you just don't do things like this. So I went to a few other wholesalers around. And the third guy I visited, I told this story to, and he goes, you know what? I had a retail client sell a watch to this other jeweler, the same person I did the gold to, and it was a day date, right? I'll put a picture here, a factory day date, just regular. I don't know all the story, which version it was and all that. I didn't get the details. But he goes, my retail client went in there, sold him the watch. A week later, let alone 3 days, a week later, they call up a retail customer, not even a wholesale. They go, your case is not 18 karat, it's 14 karat, and it's aftermarket. Hold on a minute, right? So you call a week later to a retail client and telling them that you made a mistake and you want money back, right? They said something about money back. Come in, we'll work this out. I think they told the client, right? So the client came in, and he goes, you owe us $3,000. I think that was the amount. It probably was more, but I think that's what I heard. Whatever. Doesn't matter the amount. It could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 2. Doesn't matter. So the client goes, absolutely not. You've had my watch for a week. Who knows what you did with the watch? Yeah. You know, if somebody called me like that, I don't know if they replaced the case, right? Who knows? Who knows? And the guy goes, absolutely not. And he goes, I'm going to sue you. This is the store owner saying, I'm going to sue you. The guy goes, sue me, the retail customer, and storms off, right? So this happens in a retail setting, right? This is a store that's brick and mortar. If it was, I mean, I didn't leave a bad review because I don't do stuff like that. But imagine if you start getting a few reviews like that and you start treating customers like that, I don't know how much repeat business you really will get. That's just something awful, right? If it was personally me and I bought the watch, and I inspect watches like crazy. I take it to my watchmaker before I do anything. If I'm fishy at all, if I'm not feeling good, I want to take it there. I always open it up anyway, right? But for putting all that aside, I would be so embarrassed to call a retail customer, and you're a professional watchmaker that services watches, right? I was considering servicing a watch before all these stories with him, because he was pretty reasonable, and I thought he was like super expert on this, right? But if they're doing that, who knows what else they're doing? These are only stories I've heard, right? From another jeweler, a retail customer telling another jeweler. So you have to be so careful out there. I'll say 90% of jewelers are good people. They're honest. I mean, I can speak for myself and almost every other wholesaler I dealt with. They've always done things correctly. Everybody tells me if it's, you know, if I'm curious, meaning if I don't know, if I'm at a trade show, they go return the watch, right? If we say it's something and it's not, just return it. Everybody's dealt perfect with me. I've gone to many shows like that. But this is an incredible story, and I thought I would share it with you. Just keep your eye out, right? So it's not just the scammers on OfferUp and Facebook and stuff like that. There are brick and mortar stores that will do very fishy stuff out there. So just stick to your guns, know what you know, try to get as much information. And if a jeweler pays you and you find out a week later, they give you a call and say it's something it's not, just be alert of that. So that is a personal story of mine, and then I'm very happy that they shared another story. I'm not going to share it, so don't ask what store this is. I'm not going to share the store, but I just want to make people aware that there are scams out there, even on the high levels. I don't know if they're scamming, right? I mean, they could be telling the truth. The client that I heard about, right? I wasn't physically there, and he wasn't my client. He was another wholesaler friend of mine, client, right? But I know what happened to me, and nobody else can tell me that, right? I know that chain was 14, but even if it was 10, I still offer the full refund. So not making this video too long, I want you all to, I want to thank you all. If you're looking for a watch, please go to legitimate sites like thewatchkingofficial.com and be safe out there. You know, we're dealing with a very luxury industry and very luxury watches and jewelry, just make sure you trust them 100% and they're open and honest about everything. So thank you all, and I will catch you in the next one. Have a great day.